Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Bronze Reaper podcast. I'm your host, Rosalind Perkins, and today we got a reaction videos. I don't usually do shows on Saturdays, but today, it's a special day. I seen this reaction video that I wanted to do, so I was like, all right, you know what? Let me do something special today. You know, so we got Marquette Devon Burton's versus a a white South Africans in a debate about colonization. I thought this would be a pretty good show because I thought this would have been a great show because I like Marquette's um, content. It's different. Yeah, we talk the FBA talk and stuff like that, but we're listening to another teacher, a Black American teacher. That even though a lot of people don't agree with how he does things, I like his content. I think it's great, and I think he does great work and puts on a great example for Black Americans. So definitely, absolutely, I think he deserves his flowers. But before we start, because I know this might be a little bit quick, I want to thank y'all from last night. I know I started early. I started around 3:45. I was gonna start at 9:45 in the morning, but I didn't. Because I didn't go to work Thursday night. So I was like, yo, let me do a show. Let me do an early show. Since it's the holidays, it's people are doing great things. But everybody also don't forget to like and subscribe and comment in the live chat. I know I got the chat on this side now instead of up here. Um, like I said, I'm trying something a little bit different. I'm actually gonna do this. Bring it up a little bit. Bring it up, bring it down, right there. So yeah, I'm still fixing stuff, but don't just forget to like and subscribe and share in the live chat. I know it's subscribers only, so definitely subscribe to be in the live chat. And also, don't forget to share it to five platforms, five different peoples, or three peoples and two platforms, or three platforms and two people. Whatever's great for you, definitely do it. So and also don't forget to give that donation. It's in the live chat right now. The Cash App and GoFundMe. And shout out for the people. I know people don't like doing the GoFundMe thing, but if you do it, thank you. I do appreciate it. People been hitting the cash apps a little bit more, so um, and like I said, I appreciate that because a lot of y'all don't have to do that. Y'all could have been doing something different. Um, Again, like I said, I liked the show last night, so shout out for everybody who's on the show. I seen the what's my homie that I seen he was new on there. Jesus Christ, I can't even think of his name. Old Gamer, shout out to him, man. That was the first time I ever seen him on it, and again, thank you for the wisdom and the conversations with us. With the Bronze Reaper audience. Um, we've seen Saint Michael's. He always has a different approach. One of our Bronze Reaper Irish audience, and we had what's my other homie? The New York Irishman, who always comes off a kick, Robin, shout out to Robin, he be on kick, with the, spitting his knowledge that he knows. And I'm just bigging y'all up and stuff like that. I don't usually, I don't usually do this, I don't usually do this on Saturdays. I'm usually like working out or stuff like that. I'm gonna work out after, give me a second. Give me a second, everybody. I apologize. But yeah, again, we're gonna have we're about to jump in the next probably 2 minutes. But I hope everybody's day is going good. My day, actually, no. Let's start now. I'm gonna start now. And I'm sorry if I'm just fixing stuff. You know me. I'm always trying to get shit popping. You know. But let's start the show. Actually.
I'm going to yield the floor for the gentleman to introduce himself. Peace to the saints. We are back with another debate. I'm going to yield the floor for the gentleman to introduce himself.
My name is Marco Angelos. I was born in South Africa in 1996. I grew up during the apartheid regime as soon as it finished in
mm,
South Africa. Both my parents didn't grow up as wealthy white South Africans. My mother used to take me um, to school in a public transport. So I understand the struggle in living South Africa. And when I matriculated after school in South Africa, I couldn't find much work. So I decided to travel to Europe to find some overseas work. And I found a job overseas, and I've been working overseas ever since because it was very difficult for me as a white South African to find work in South Africa.
Okay. You have to forgive me. I've been very busy with business today,
mm.
but I do want to honor what you've said by listening.
Oh yeah! Shout out to everybody who does give donations. So on Monday, I do have some new headphones coming through. So thank y'all for the donations and the cash apps and stuff. I always tell people this is where your money goes. It's going to equipment, to better stuff. And I used your money. I actually used my credit card by an accident. But thank y'all for the cash apps and the GoFundMe and stuff.
And taking some notes, and I always like to make sure that I get my notes correct. So I'll recount what I've heard you say, make sure that I'm understanding.
Sure.
You are a South African by birth. Your parents are also South African by birth.
Correct.
And you went to university in South Africa. And
No, I
after
decided not to go to university after high school.
Okay,
I decided instead of studying after high school, I borrowed money from my grandfather to go and find work in Europe.
Hmm.
And after 3 months of not finding work, I managed to find work for a foreign businessman in France, Cannes, who was
Happy
able to
4th,
employ me on
everyone.
his
Oh, thank
yacht
you, E Will. Shout out to
as
you.
understood.
a yacht cleaner.
Understood. This is our first admitted white South African. We've had a number of South Africans who have been white, except they had black skin. So this is a white South African with white skin. So this is a unique thing. We have the genuine article here. And I've not had any opportunity to speak with the gentleman before this, so you would have to tell me what it is you would like to argue and how you found yourself here.
Well, I was trying to argue the fact that the Dutch settled in the Cape in about the 1600s. And I argue that the local people of South Africa are not inherently dark skinned. They're actually light skinned. They are the Khoisan. And they were also pushed out of their native lands by not only the white people that colonized South Africa, but also the Bantu immigration that came from the Central Africa. And that's the argument that I want to argue.
I'll repeat your argument, make sure that I understand it. You're
Sure.
suggesting that the national territory, which is today called South Africa, was inhabited by the
Correct.
Khoisan, and African people
Correct.
who are of fairer skin than, say, the Zulus, and that they were
Correct.
displaced not only by Europeans, whites, your ancestors, but also by the blacks who populate the majority of this national territory today. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Excellent. May I ask you, what is the purpose of your argument?
Um, my purpose is to let everyone understand that in those times, it was very common for war and territory achievement. So you cannot only blame the Europeans for colonizing South Africa, but you can also blame the Africans for colonizing South Africa. I feel like the always pointing the finger at the white man for colonization is not a fair argument. I feel like in those times there was constant war, and you can't only blame one person for that. That's my argument.
Huh. Curious. Is colonization a bad thing or
Yo, have you seen my man's expression? Like, yo, Marquett, yeah, you know, there's gonna be some bullshit when he does that. You know, and I appreciate when he does do shit like that because because it's worth it. You know, at least it's a warning. Like, oh shit, this shit's about to go left. So let's keep on going.
huh? Curious. Is colonization a bad thing or a good thing?
Um, it depends.
It depends. I'm listening.
Yes, I would say that colonization, in terms of taking over an area, but if you, at the end of the day, make the area you colonized a better place in terms of creating a better life for the people that were living there, I don't think colonization is inherently a bad thing.
What about in the case of
This is where he fucked up at. He should have just said it was a bad thing. You know, what he's saying is he did stuff for the greater. Um he did his people did evil things for the greater good of society. That's what he's trying to say, and I think that's the worst thing that you could say or nor do, especially when you're benefiting off of it. Because who did he make it better for? The people who were there already. They didn't make it better for them. They made it worse. So this is where and I hate saying this, but I have to say it. I'm white, and I do things. I'm white, and I did this for the best for the best things for the real Africans, the black Africans.
your people? And when I say out in the case of your people, and when I say your people, I'm talking about the whites collectively in South Africa.
Okay.
Did they make South Africa, that territory, a better place for the blacks?
I think so.
You think so? I see. In suggesting that colonization was good for the black South Africans, you suggest that all that came with it, and this would include apartheid, this would include extraordinary levels of violence, both direct physical violence, also biological warfare, subjugation, economic disenfranchisement. This was all good for the blacks.
No, that's not what I said at all. I don't agree with that at all.
You
But I
don't agree
also
with
have
yourself.
to say, no. What I also have to say is that at that time when the whites colonized, it was not only there were two empires that colonized. It was the British Empire and the Dutch Empire. And when the Dutch colonized, they settled in the Cape and they moved towards the inland and they segregated a lot of the Zulus and the Africans away from certain areas. But at the end of the day, is the apartheid came from a regime that was Dutch created. The British Empire tried to stop that. But in South Africa, the majority of people that created farms and bought property on that area were the Dutch settlers. So the government eventually went towards the Dutch, and in that way,
I get uncomfortable when Marquette just starts smiling and laughing and just listen because, like I said, this is when bullshit is about to happen because the guy is just talking bullshit. I don't think he's answering the question. I don't think he's doing what he was supposed to do. I don't think he's doing what he's really supposed to do. I personally don't think he's really knowledgeable of his own country. And I have to say his own country because he's a citizen there. Watch.
majority of people that created farms and bought property on that area were the Dutch settlers. So the government eventually went towards the Dutch, and in that way,
The gentleman is
I
frozen on my
disagree
end.
with apartheid completely.
Okay, you were frozen for a moment. I didn't hear what you said,
Okay,
but
I'm
I
back.
trust that it was not of major
Okay,
value.
I will.
Told
I'll let
you.
I'll
I
make it
told
very
you.
short. I said basically the apartheid regime was enforced by the Dutch settlers, and the British Empire didn't have that
Playing
idea,
hot
and they tried to
potato.
stop it. So I disagree completely with apartheid, and I do not think it was a good system. But what I can say is I had a lot of local Zulus and a local people that worked with my family, and they
Did they work
say
with your family or
personally,
did they work for
yeah,
your family? Was it with your
for my
family or was it
family,
for your family?
for my family, they
For your
were for my
family. That's
family.
an
Got him.
important
Yes.
distinction.
Yeah, he's looking like a devil right now, and I have to say he is looking like a devil because if you making mistakes like that, talk about we was working with each other, and technically you was working, they were working for you. Then there's a very big difference, and I personally don't think he should do stuff like that because you're lying. You're starting to lie now.
Yes, you're right about that. But what they do say is that they preferred their
Before
lifestyle
you go
living
on,
under.
do you mind if I respond to some of the things you said earlier? Because you've been speaking
Sure.
at length, and the problem is that you've already engaged a red herring. Number one, at the beginning, I already created a delineation. When I said you, I'm referring to whites. I'm not differentiating between the British or the Dutch or any other group. Whites. That is your racial category. And as a monolith of people who have the same nature, colonization, which is to say violent overthrow and theft,
Mm.
we asked if colonization was a net positive or a negative. You said that it was a positive. And then I asked,
Yes.
did everything that come with it also wreak positivity? No. We mentioned
No.
apartheid as a clear example. And this does not account for any of the fatalities and the mass murder that you guys engaged in
Mm.
just to get to the point where apartheid started,
Yeah,
which
yeah, this shit's about to already go left. I see. It's going left, man, because the guy don't know what he's talking about, and I think this is where he's fucking up, and he's about to start sweating. He's about to start sweating. That's why he said, "Yo, let me cut you off for a second. Can I answer some of the stuff you're saying?" Because with most white supremacists, they'll answer like 50 questions that you didn't ask them, and you'd be like, "What the fuck is this guy talking about?" This is where they say it's mayo babble.
we asked if colonization was a net positive or a negative. You said that it was a positive. And then I asked,
Yes.
did everything that come with it also wreak positivity? No. We mentioned
No.
apartheid as a clear example. And this does not account for any of the fatalities and the mass murder that you guys engaged in just to get to the point where apartheid started,
Mm.
which was quite late, hundreds of years after your initial arrival. Then apartheid was maintained through extraordinary levels of violence and suppression of black peoples, denial of education, and much else. So you deny
Correct.
that apartheid was a good thing, yet you suggest that colonization was a good thing. That's in
Yes.
direct contradiction. You're contradicting yourself. Then you try to escape guilt by saying, we are not those other people. We are a different type of white person. Yet you all did the same thing and then you collaborated. Because the apartheid system categorized whites, blacks, coloreds. Whites were categorized together, irrespective of being Dutch or of British origin. So clearly you all view yourselves as one, as do I. So your differentiation is irrelevant, and law created by whites makes that clear. I yield the floor.
Okay, that makes sense. I understand where you're coming from. But also, what we
So
must
your
also
different
internally in the greater picture of things, because you clearly differentiating whites and blacks. I don't think it's such a separate thing that we can do because. But also, for example, when you say
so
whites, you
your
also
different
think Europeans, and when you say blacks, you think Africans, right? Is that what?
we're speaking in the South African context, and the truth
Okay,
is in
okay,
South
okay.
Africa that all of the whites that are there are not from there. They're from Europe. And all of the blacks that are from there are from that continent. And generally speaking, when we separate peoples in a significant way, they're usually separated by natural features, mountains, which may cause them to evolve and develop different
Yes.
appearances, or deserts
But
and things like that.
in modern days, since boats were created, there were people who were able to travel along and integrate and become one with different societies.
This is where he fucked up at. He already separated. He already started talking about separated. Um, he was and Marquette is very great at this. He's explaining that what was good for the black Afrikaners, nothing. But now where he's trying to explain about the colonization of America. I mean of South Africa. And this stuff is just going left. Watch.
Okay, that makes sense. I understand where you're coming from. But also, what we must also internally in the greater picture of things, because you clearly differentiating whites and blacks. I don't think it's such a separate thing that we can do because also, for example, when you say whites, you automatically think Europeans, and when you say blacks, you think Africans, right? Is that what?
We're speaking in the South African context, and the truth
Okay,
is in
okay,
South
okay.
Africa that all of the whites that are there are not from there. They're from Europe. And all of the blacks that are from there are from that continent. And generally speaking, when we separate peoples in a significant way, they're usually separated by natural features, mountains, which may cause them to evolve and develop different appearances, or deserts
But
and things like that.
in modern days, since boats were created, there were people who were able to travel along and integrate and become one with different
He's
societies.
fucked
And
up.
what I want to say is that nowadays,
He's trying to soften the colonization. He's trying to soften the white genocide and the colonizations that the Europeans has done. Um, this is very dangerous, and it's to me it's very inappropriate. The reason why I say it's very inappropriate because I don't. Yes, we should talk about this. We should have conversations about this, but I feel that doing this shows you that, like, you know what, these people have this type of demonic mindset where they that they're superior towards black people. You know, they could make up the history. They could lie about the history because all he's doing is lying. You know, I don't think he know, but he knows, but I don't think he knows.
there is still slavery in Africa from Africans,
Do you
and
notice
we are
that
still.
you often go off topic? This is a strategy of the whites. Number one, you all try your best to deny your nature. Your nature is of viciousness and murder. There's hundreds of years and there's
Uh,
millions of bodies. We're talking about hundreds of millions. And so often, in an attempt to remove the spotlight from yourself, you attempt to talk about what others have done. We're actually currently on the topic of the viciousness of the white European in South Africa, and you are attempting to defend that. And I have no problem with that. You are of the white organization, so do defend them, but defend them within the context of the country we're actually discussing.
I understand. I understand what you're saying. So
Yeah.
can I bring a point on by
Please.
saying that
Shit.
uh, I feel like in South Africa now that there is obviously the government is run by Zulus and Africans in South Africa, and I feel like nowadays I, as a white man in South Africa, feel like a minority because I cannot find an easy job in South Africa because there was a law passed in South Africa called BEE, Economic Empowerment, which means that if I apply for a job in South Africa, if I have the same qualifications as a white man, then the black man will get a job over the white man in South Africa. So I feel like isn't that kind of reverse racism in a way?
I appreciate you stating that. In fact, I gave a lecture just yesterday on caucasity, and we discussed reverse racism there. Generally speaking, the best understanding of racism is to have prejudice, bias, racial hatred that is backed by power. That's a great understanding of it. And I'll return to that momentarily, but I want to respond to something that you just said. You stated that you begin to feel like a minority, like that was a new
Yes.
feeling, correct?
Yes.
Yes,
Correct.
and this is why it's important for me to help the victims of white supremacy, the black people, and also to help you because you too are
People's
a victim of white supremacy, which is a delusion and a psychosis. You see, you've stated that you begin to feel like a minority when in actual fact, you have always been a minority. In South Africa, whites were always a minority, but you didn't feel like it because of your domination of the black people. So you've always been a minority. So feeling like a minority means you're feeling something called reality. That's number one. Then number two, in terms of the global population, whites have always been a minority because you are melanin deficient. You are the result of albinism. And so you'll always be a minority, increasingly so, because your genetics are recessive. And that is why you engage in such viciousness against.
Yeah, he called my boy an albino, or as my boy who's from Uganda, he said albino, albino. So basically, he just called white people albinos. I don't know if y'all just caught that, but Marquette is very vicious, but he's very truthful, and this is why I fuck with his content. Shout out to Marquette, man. Marquette be getting busy out here. You know, I think he deserves a little bit more credit than what he has done. He has great conversations, and I think a lot of people are not. I think they're uncomfortable of these type of conversations that he does have.
People who have melanin because you do not want to be
Watch.
called reality. You didn't feel that you begin to feel like a minority when in actual fact, you have always been a minority. In South Africa, whites were always a minority, but you didn't feel like it because of your domination of the black people. So you've always been a minority. So feeling like a minority means you're feeling something called reality. That's number one. Then number two, in terms of the global population, whites have always been a minority because you are melanin deficient. You are the result of albinism. And so
Yes.
you'll always be a minority, increasingly so, because your genetics are recessive. And that is why you engage in such viciousness against people who have melanin, because you do not want to cease existing. It's a survival mechanism. And until we make you aware and we get that under control, because your genetics are recessive from and that is viciousness, an attempt to maintain yourselves and to survive.
I really don't think you can call me vicious because of the color of my skin. You're saying
No, it's not. It's not the color of your skin. There's
lack
nothing
of
wrong.
melanin. You're saying lack of melanin. That was your word, lack of melanin.
It's genetics. It's not the color of your skin. It's the genetics.
Yes.
The color of your
Yes,
skin
but
is
the-
only
the
a
genetics-
phenotypical representation of your genetics. Your genetics contain Neanderthal DNA. I surmise that that is probably the origin of your viciousness. In addition to that, we all know that survival of the fittest dictates that you propagate your DNA. And in the case of one who is genetically recessive, if your DNA mixes with the DNA of a black person,
I don't think. I don't think. I don't know. I don't think this white Afrikaner don't know what to say because This is something new that he never heard before. I have heard it before. I have heard things where they say white people don't have hair; they got fur. I have heard these things, and the people I heard this from are vicious. Some Israelites, some Hebrew Israelites, some um just conscious, talkers, very conscious talkers. They say shit like this. I'm not the one to say like if it's true or not. That's not my place. But there are Black Americans and Africans and Caribbeans that say shit like this. They say that they're not humans. They say that they come from the caves. This isn't nothing new that Marquette is saying, but Marquette is going on historical facts. This is what he's going on.
And you no longer exist. So it is
Watch.
your
Melanin.
Listen.
That was your word. Lack of.
viciousness in attempt to
I,
maintain why you
Listen.
engage in such viciousness against people who have melanin because you do not want to cease existing. It's a survival mechanism.
Mm.
And until we make you aware and we get that under control, the entire world is under threat from your viciousness in attempt to maintain yourselves and to survive.
I really don't think you can call me vicious
It's a
because of the
survival
color of my
mechanism.
skin. You're saying
No,
my, because
it's
of my
not the
lack
color
of
of your skin. There's
lack
nothing
of
wrong.
melanin. You're saying lack of melanin. That was your word. Lack of
It's
melanin.
genetics. It's not the color of your skin. It's the genetics.
Yeah.
The
He's
color
not
of your
used to
skin is
this.
only
The
a
genetics.
phenotypical representation of your genetics. Your
But how,
genetics contain Neanderthal DNA. I surmise that that is probably the origin of your viciousness. In addition to that, we all know that survival of the fittest dictates that you propagate your DNA. And in the case of one who is genetically recessive, if your DNA mixes with the DNA of a black person, you no longer exist. So it is that drive to exist, to survive, that causes you guys to be so vicious. And I'm not speculating, I'm speaking to historical facts. And
Told
if you
you.
would like to pick a genocide, we could discuss one. The genocide in North America, the genocide in South America, the genocides throughout Africa, the genocides in Asia. You could pick one, the genocide in Australia, and they were all perpetrated by you whites. So
yes,
until you're
because they were all
honest about
recorded.
what you
All the
are, we
genocides.
cannot find a solution.
Okay. But these are all genocides that were recorded. All the genocides by the local African communities were not all recorded. We don't know these things. But what I want to say is that you say that I am, because of my heritage and that I have Neanderthal DNA, I am receptive to viciousness. How is that possible when I was born in South Africa? My mom used to take me on a bus, and I was the only white man
Oh,
in
don't
that
do that,
bus. I grew
buddy.
up not as a rich person in this country. I saw the struggle through. I didn't have the advantages of, as you would
My
say
dear
in America, that
colonizer friend, may I recount some of your words to you?
of
And
course you
remember, you
can.
can't lie to me because I've been to South Africa many times. I've done business there. I know what is going on and I've studied it.
It's
You
bad.
cannot make up
Yes,
things here.
I'm not making. I live
I'm
here.
not like the
I'm
black
telling
South
you how I live.
Africans. I'm
I'm
different than
telling you
them.
how I live.
So
I
let me
know.
teach. Number one, you
Yeah,
stated that you're
yeah.
poor like the black.
He threw South Africans, the black South Africans, under the bus. It this white South Africaner can't really get mad because this is history. This is why certain people can't have these type of conversations. About Black Americans or Africans or colonizations and genocides and stuff like that because it goes back to technically one race. Has other race done colonizations and genocide? Um, I think Genghis Khan. That's the only one I know. The Persians. That's how the Egyptians are there. The modern day Egyptians are not the Egyptians now. So you know the small hats aren't the small hats from thousands of years ago. You know, they historic history says they were fair skinned people. That's why the Egyptians say, how did they leave black and came back white? That's still a mystery to a lot of people. The Egyptian president said that I think in the 50s or the 40s and got killed for it. So got murdered for, assassinated for it. So yeah, it's like a lot of this stuff is out here. It's he can't act like it doesn't exist. That's my whole thing. That's my whole thing where a lot of white supremacists they act like this doesn't exist. This exists. All you have to do is a little bit of research.
Black South Africans, you have an understanding of them. You cannot make up
Yes.
things here.
I'm not.
To you.
Of
And
course
remember,
you
you
can.
can't lie to me because I've been to South Africa many times. I've done business there. I know what is going on and I've studied it. You cannot make up
Yes.
things here.
I'm not making. I live
I'm
here.
not like the
I'm
black
telling
South
you how I live.
Africans. I'm
I'm
different than
telling you
them.
how I live.
So
I
let me
know.
teach. Number one, you stated that you're poor like the black South Africans. You have an understanding of them. You can
I live
relate.
with
You're
them.
countrymen.
Yes. Yes. You
This,
don't live in South Africa. You don't know.
you don't live in South Africa either. Am I wrong?
I grew up there for 12 years.
Do you
My
live in South
whole
Africa?
life.
Let me ask you a question. You
Yes.
just said I don't
I
live in
was.
South Africa. Do you live in South Africa?
I was there for 6 months.
Yes
I
or
just
no? Do
came
you
to
live in South
Turkey.
Africa? You mustn't dodge. I'm just asking you a straightforward question. You can be honest if you don't mind. Do you live in South Africa?
Yes.
So right now you live in South Africa.
No. I'm working on a yacht in
Why do you
international
keep
waters.
lying?
I'm not
And I
lying.
talked about this yesterday. You guys are very deceitful. You find
I'm
that
not.
right now the truth is not favorable to you, so you dispense with it very easily. That is the
No, I'm
nature.
telling you the truth. I live
Okay,
in
well,
South
let me ask
Africa,
you the
but I
question
work
once more. I'll give you
overseas.
the opportunity to be honest.
Okay.
Do you live in South Africa right now?
No,
Correct. Thank you. You could have
not
said
right
that
now.
10 minutes ago. You told me I don't live in South Africa. Correct. Neither do you. We're even. I will proceed.
At the moment.
You tried to suggest, and it was very dishonest, you tried to suggest that you can relate to the blacks in South Africa because you use public transportation. Oh, it's a pity. Would you believe I had to use public transportation growing up too? Beneath us, isn't it? Now, here's the funny thing. You mentioned that you got a loan from your grandfather, which means that your grandfather had a significant amount of discretionary income. This is not the case with black South Africans, so that already separates you. Secondly, you mentioned that you were like, black South Africans used to work with us. And then I said, did they work with you or work for you? And then you conceded the truth, which you were concealing, that the black South Africans worked for you, the white man, which is how it has been since you guys showed up because you created a system of domination, apartheid, with not only racial discrimination and violence, but it was also economic subjugation, and that system survives. So the fact that you're a part of the ownership class, they worked for you, lets us know that your family was reasonably well off and you guys were dominant. And lastly, everyone watching, the thousands watching, have seen me discuss this topic with many South Africans, most of whom were black. They think they're white South Africans because you guys have brainwashed them. But every time we look at their background, it reeks of poverty. The lighting is dark. The walls are unclean. The camera they're calling in from is blurry because it's a cheap phone. Every single one of them. I've never been to a shanty town of whites. I've been throughout South Africa, Durban, Pretoria, Joburg, Cape Town, and in transit, I've never seen whites in shanty towns. I've seen entire mini cities and villages of shanty towns, all blacks. And even without that, we look at the data and we find that whites are far more wealthy than blacks in South Africa. And in addition,
correct.
you guys
That's
still
correct.
own the land. And every bit of the land that you own, you took it in blood. You did not buy it. You did not gain it legally. You used
That's not
thuggery.
correct.
You used
That's not
thuggery. It's
correct.
entirely correct.
No. There is a law. There was an agreement. When the Dutch settled, there was actual agreement between the Dutch and the Zulus where they agreed on land and they negotiated perfectly for land. And there was also times where the Zulus betrayed that agreement. And there's actually a historical agreement about that.
Where did you
So
learn
in
this?
but
Where did you learn this narrative? Do they teach you this in high school? Did you learn this in high school?
I
Is that where you
studied
learned this narrative?
No, we didn't learn this in high school. I studied it myself after high school.
Aha.
But also, can I say something?
If
I
you give
don't
me
think
one moment, I
after 30
apologize. Just give me
Sure.
one moment. I'm so
Sure,
sorry. My
sure.
maid is at my other property. A second.
Sure.
Hello? Hey there, Chris. Yes, can you let her into the property? She does not have a key. I was hoping you guys had a key. You could let her into the property. Anna sent me a document. I sent a document to let her in to do the cleaning.
We could skip this.
That I'll resume. It's been a terribly busy day. I just got
No,
this
all
on
good.
speaker. When they come back, I'll resume. Hopefully, I can hear it. But carry on.
No, I just wanted to say that if I'm born in South Africa and I grew up in South Africa, I didn't choose where I migrate. How can I
One
still be?
Yes, I'm here.
If
You were saying that you were born in South Africa.
yeah, I was just saying that if because apartheid finished 30 years ago,
Uh-huh.
so
Did it though? Did
I
it?
was born. Yes,
Did it finish 30 years ago?
Yes, it did because
Uh-oh.
That's interesting.
what do you feel like it's still going on today?
Don't touch
Well,
this.
I don't use feelings. I use my brain, which
Yeah.
does make me unique on the planet Earth. And apartheid is, simply put, you speak a little bit of Afrikaans? Do you?
No, yeah, I can.
But you at least speak enough Afrikaans to know apartheid
I can
means
also speak Zulu.
apartness. Apartheid means apartness, right? You speak
I
enough
can
to
also
know
speak
that.
Zulu. I can
You know
also speak
enough.
some Zulu.
You know enough Afrikaans to know that apartheid means apartness, right?
Yes.
Excellent.
Separation. Yes.
Separation. Oh, you corrected me. Your Afrikaans is very good. So, that being the case, it means separation. And
Yeah.
I experienced a little bit of trouble when I was in Cape Town because of the separation, you see.
Uh
Walked into a
oh.
restaurant, and all of the servers were black, all of the patrons were white.
I heard this story before, and it's crazy.
Experienced a little bit of trouble when I was in Cape Town because of the separation, you see. Walked into a restaurant, and all of the servers were black, all of the patrons were white, and they wouldn't let me dine.
That's impossible.
Apartness.
That's
Apartness.
impossible.
Wait.
So
Did you say that's impossible? Well, one moment. Did you say that's impossible?
Yes.
He got that shit on
Tell me
tape.
more about that. How's that impossible?
Because
You're
I've
telling
been
me
to
my
Cape
lived
Town.
experience is impossible. Tell me more.
Yes, because if you come there to South African as an
Yes.
American Turkish and you go to any restaurant in Cape Town,
Yes.
there will no be racism or something like that. There will no be separation. Just because the waiters are serving you and they're African doesn't mean that they're not going to serve you. There's a lot of black, rich Africans in South Africa.
There's
that
a
can
lot.
serve.
There's a lot. What
Yes,
percentage
there-
would be a lot? What percentage? And real quick, before you answer
Probably-
that, one moment. Before you answer that, I want to give you some math.
All right, everybody, let me take a quick break real fast. I gotta run to the bathroom. Give me like 1 minute. All right, I'm back, everybody. Let's finish.
Let's say the black population in South Africa, what would you peg it at? What percentage of South Africa is black?
It's about 85%.
And I'll even bump it up to 90% by American standards because the people you call colored, we would just call black. But 90%, or let's just say 85% according to you.
Yes. And that
Black.
10% of colored people
Now
are
that we
Also-
have that, you said there's a lot of rich black people. Well, what percentage of the blacks are rich in South Africa?
Do you know why? A low percentage because of corruption.
A low percentage, but you just said it was a high percentage. I'm paying attention here.
He fucked up. Yeah, he's starting to lie a lot. We get those type of liars on the show and stuff like that. You gotta be careful of these type of people, man. They'll try to correct you and honestly hurt themselves, and they'll hurt themselves in the conversation that they're trying to have with you.
You just said it was a high percentage. Do you remember that?
No, I said there are a lot. I didn't say high percentage.
No,
I
you
said
said
there
high.
are lots of rich black South
You said
Africans
high.
there. You
But
saying
I speak great
percentage,
English.
live-
My English is good like your Afrikaans. And when you
I
say a
don't speak
lot,
Afrikaans.
when you say a lot, that would suggest
Yes.
that it's
Yeah, but
significant.
you're adding percentage. I
But
didn't say
no,
percentage.
Oh,
don't
you
don't
said
try to
high.
play with
Quantity.
language because my English is very good. And when you say
So
a
is
lot, you're suggesting that it's a significant percentage when the opposite is true. It's actually they're underrepresented. Would you agree that blacks are underrepresented grossly in terms of wealth? Mind you, I'm asking you questions I already know the answer to, so you don't have to take 30
Yes,
minutes
that's
to answer
probably
them.
no, because
I didn't
that
ask you
is
to
true.
explain.
That
I
is
just asked
no,
you if it's
that
true.
that is true. That is
Yes.
true. But the black wealth has significantly increased.
Yeah.
Significant.
You see,
And-
the reason that I like you guys is because in your white supremacist ideology,
I'm not trying to
when
be
when
supremacist.
when the truth confronts you, you become completely unreasonable, and your
Yeah.
intelligence leaves the building. It's your emotions and your subconscious take over at this moment.
Emotions. I'm not emotional.
Yeah, he's getting mad. Yeah, homie, you are getting mad. We're starting to feel that now. We're feeling the tension.
You are emotional.
Yeah.
You are very emotional. That's why you're lying. That's why you've been lying.
I'm not lying. I'm telling you the truth.
Yes, you are lying. You told me that there are a lot of black people.
There are.
That's a
truth.
lie.
That's a fact. It's not a
Come
lie.
on. So you're telling me that in good conscience, you can sit here and say in South Africa, there are a lot of wealthy black people.
Yes.
That's the truth.
Yes. But there are more unemployed, poverty black people than there are white people. And
Oh my
the reason is because of corruption.
Oh my goodness.
The leaders in this country.
No, sir. No, sir. You are an extraordinary liar. The reason that the
No.
blacks are in poverty is not because of corruption. It is first
is
and
because of
foremost
corruption.
because you guys, for hundreds of
you cannot-
years, created a
cannot-
system specifically to dominate the black South Africans. And furthermore, the black South Africans have longer existed under your domination than they have in freedom. So how could you expect them to be on par with you devils if they have been underneath you devils by violence for longer than they have been
don't-
free? That doesn't make
No, you
sense.
You don't expect them to be. Why are you having this expectation? All I'm saying is that they have had power over the whole of South African
Do you mind
economy.
do you mind
Since-
addressing what I've said? Do you, like so I can see if
Yes.
you're thinking? Do you understand what
I'm
I've said?
thinking. Yes.
Yes. Can you explain to
understand
me
what you said.
what I said, just so I know if you're understanding? You know, in the beginning, when you started talking, I said, let me recount to you what you said to make sure that I understand. Would you mind letting me know what I've said?
Yes. You completely disagree that there are not wealthy people as black people in South Africa. But what I'm trying to say is that
Now you're telling me what you're trying to say. I'm asking you to
Yes.
explain the argument that I just made.
Yeah, he is.
Remember, you are of the white superior class, You have superior genetics, so you should be tracking well, and you should be able to
I didn't say
articulate
that.
yourself. We're
Please
speaking a
don't put
European
words.
language. This is your
Please don't
people,
put words.
please.
Just don't put words in my mouth like that. Say I didn't ever say I was a superior race. I don't ever.
No, you
feel
did
like I
not
am.
say that, but you did suggest that the whites are better at running the blacks than the blacks are at running the blacks, which
did say
would
that.
suggest that they're
Yes.
superior. So
They
you don't
are.
have to say it overtly
No,
because I'm wise
no,
enough to read between the lines, my dear boy. So what I was asking you before is to explain the argument that I just made in terms of why the blacks are in an inferior state economically. Or did you not
They
track
are.
it? If you didn't track it, just say so and I'll re-explain. It's no problem. I used to teach school in Baltimore. I'm used to teaching people who have learning disabilities because there's lead in the paint. It's not only in South Africa that the blacks receive inferior education, inferior housing, and inferior treatment. So I'm used to dealing with people who are slow.
Okay. I see what you mean. But what I'm trying to say is that yes, there is a high value of wealthy white people because of the history of South Africa. That is correct what you're saying. That is true.
Okay. All
There
right.
is the most majority of wealth in South Africa, 100% is white people and foreign owned businesses, especially diamond and gold mines owned by the European companies. That I 100% agree with, and that is a fact.
Okay.
What I am trying to say is that you can't keep blaming white people for the problems that are having in South Africa today because the people that are running the government
Real quick,
are my.
I agree with you on this, but that's not what you said before. So you're now making a different argument than you made before. The argument you made before, I obliterated. Now you're making a different, more reasonable argument, and I agree. So I'm going to yield the floor.
Okay. Sorry for my previous argument. Can I continue with this
Yeah,
argument?
please do. I'm all ears.
Okay. So after apartheid,
That's why I was explaining that he's changing up the what he's talking about, and I don't think he's staying on topic. That I get that a lot with people, and this is why I stop people and say like, "Yo, can you stay on topic?" Because it's easy to do, but some people just flat out do it for no reason, because they don't want to answer the question or they don't want to admit that they're wrong. So Marquette is actually teaching him how to be an adult.
yes, the country was owned predominantly by white people, but the government was given to Africans to continue running the country. They did not have the
Can
same
I ask you a
education
question?
that.
Can I ask you a
Yes.
question? You said the government was given to the blacks to run South
Yes.
Africa.
The
Now,
ANC.
the ANC, Mandela, right?
Yeah.
Now, I'm not the brightest star in the sky. I'm not the shiniest pair of shoes in the closet. But riddle me this. If Nelson Mandela was locked in your dungeon for, was it 27 years, was it?
25.
25.
25, that's a lot. That's a long time. You tend to get disconnected when you're in prison.
Thank you, Miss Lala.
You come out
Brown.
of prison,
happy for.
and then you become the president of South Africa. You don't think that was like a fishy little setup for the whites to remove the economic
I
sanctions
think-
from South Africa?
You know what
you
I
don't think
think?
so? Or was he like qualified to do the job?
I think he was a spy sent from overseas.
You think he was a foreign spy?
Yeah. I don't think the transition from apartheid.
See that part right there. I think he's just. Let me tell you something. And this is the thing I have a concern with white folks. Why all the Afrikaners, all the Afrikaners have the same look? Because they're like Dutch and British, and and I just found out most white people are albino. So because Marquette, he called every white person an albino. So that was a great one.
To the current government was a smooth transition. I think if we transitioned better, we could have made the lives of South Africa a lot better. I think the transition was terrible. The whole government changed, the whole system
You know what?
changed.
You know
and
what
it
was really
fast.
bad about the transition? I think the whites hate the transition because it was a transition. They hate that power was leaving their hands. That's fundamentally what bothers you. But what I find to be fascinating, any place you look where the nature of crimes were committed would constitute crimes against humanity. And I think the best example is what happened in World War II. And instead of, you heard of the Nuremberg trials, right?
Correct.
Yes, the Nuremberg trials. And that was to make sure that the guilty party had to pay for their crimes. There were Nuremberg trials, and the criminals were hunted down. You have a place called Johannesburg, and I was just so surprised that you didn't have Johannesburg trials, where the criminals, the killers, the murderers were not held to account. Instead, they had a Truth and Reconciliation Commission and
They
said, hey,
do,
all of you
Lala.
whites, you can basically
They
go
do.
free. There's just a handful of them that suffered any, I can't even say suffer, but experienced any consequence. Everyone else was basically got to go on about their lives. Do you think that was right? Or maybe they should have been
No,
hanged
I
like they were?
completely, I don't believe they should be hanged. To say that should,
Do you know that many of them
I-
were actual murderers? You don't think the murderers should have been hanged, the white murderers who murdered
of
many
course
black
they should
people?
have. If you murder anyone, you should be hanged. I completely agree with that. I don't disagree with that at all.
Got him right
What if you're
there.
a part of a government that is doing this? Are you not culpable?
You should be, yes. If you're
So
doing things
would it
that
have
are
been
wrong.
fair if everyone in the apartheid government was hanged?
No.
But
Oh,
you
no.
just said
You're
that.
saying no, because
You got him. You got Buddy. Come on, man. You can't just say yes twice, then no after when it comes to your people. Your people was if your people did it, they did it. That that nigga did that shit.
separating people and killing people, very different things. People that shot people in the Soweto cry-out. I don't know if you know about the Soweto.
Yes, I've actually been there,
massacre.
my dear boy. Have you been there?
Yes.
You
Yes,
have
I
been
have.
there. Was it on a field trip?
Yes.
It was on a field trip. I'm asking you, was it on a field trip for school?
No, can we continue?
No,
with
really.
what was
I
talking?
really want to know. Was it on a field trip
No.
for school?
No, it wasn't.
Oh, okay. All right. Carry on.
Those people who did the killing to those children should definitely be murdered. Not
Were they-
murdered,
were they
sorry,
hanged?
Sorry, the people that murdered people should definitely, whoever did wrong, whoever did anything wrong, should be accounted for their sins. This
Well,
is not the
I'm
fact.
saying
It's all-
hanged. I'm saying hanged. It seems like you have a problem with the idea of white lives being
No one should be
exchanged
hanged.
for
No one
black.
should be killed for.
But that's the white apartheid government was murdering blacks. So you're saying that the black lives are valueless, is what
No,
you're
I'm not
suggesting.
saying that.
You heard of Hammurabi's code, eye for an eye? Something wrong with that?
Yes, because I'm Christian.
It's impossible for you to actually follow Christianity while
Why is it
being-
impossible?
Oh, come on.
What do you mean?
think that?
How is
do
it
you think that?
impossible for me to
Do
be
you think
Christian?
that whites have ever been able to actually execute on the ideal claims in the Bible?
Nope.
No.
I mean, if you observe your history, it's actually quite comical. For example, the transatlantic slave trade. When the blacks were kidnapped, yes, and forced onto a ship, violent, and then they were packed on there tightly like sardines. So many of them got sick and died in transit. Then they arrived to be beaten and whipped into submission. But the funny thing, the ship that they arrived on, do you know there were slave ships called Jesus? These black people
No, I didn't know. No, that's
arrived on a slave ship named Jesus. Did you know that?
terrible. No, that's terrible.
Did you
But I
know that
also
the
think-
founders of the United States of America, the white founders, were seeking religious freedom? They were Christians, like
No,
you.
I disagree with that. So, but can I say something?
we can't
I don't
take you
think-
guys seriously.
No, but I just want to say something because we always point the finger to the European slavery and the taking of.
Are you
black
about to try to
slaves
escape
Africa.
your guilt?
This is the thing. I don't think he's understanding is the thing he's not understanding is that these white supremacists are causing these problems. The white race collectively is causing these problems. And I'm talking about historically. And I don't like to do I don't like to do that, but it's true. Like, put it this way. Let's see every land that the Europeans go to, the country gets destroyed, it gets violated, it gets disrupted. People are poor now. Like some of these countries were fucking beautiful before a European went there. This is why he's saying like, yo, a lot of y'all Neanderthals because that aggressive mentality it comes from a Neanderthal. They have never been civil. And this is why I be trying to have civil conversations with white supremacists, and you don't get that civilized conversation because the Neanderthal comes out. Neanderthal comes out of them. So it's true, man. And I'll be the comment. I'll be cool, calm, collected as a cucumber. It just doesn't work.
Can
Go
I
ahead,
finish,
try.
please?
Go ahead, try.
I think whatever that happened was wrong, but I do think that the British Empire should be awarded for stopping slavery. They were the first empire in the whole world to
That's
actually
actually
stop
quite
slavery.
comical. You guys are the ones who expanded slavery.
They're the one who caused slavery, and he wants us to give them. And this is the crazy shit, man. And this is the crazy shit I always talk about. I'm like, why are you talking about? Oh yeah, we stopped slavery, and you're the one that caused the motherfucker. All they know is, yeah, he said all they know is Hulk smash. Facts. Yeah, man, and that's why I always tell people all the time. And this is historical facts. This is why a lot of Moors look down on people who other Moors have sex with white people because or Europeans. At the end of the day, Europeans or white people because they were barbaric. They looked at it as bestiality. A lot of these Moors did. They looked down on other Moors who had sex with white people. You know, because at the time they had hair and all this other stuff, and the Moors taught them how to be civilized. That's where all that civilized shit came from. It came from the Moors taught Europe, but Egypt taught Rome civilized how to be civilized too. Because don't forget, a lot of those people in Rome was catching syphilis and all this other shit and gonorrhea and shit because they wasn't washing. They thought if they were dirty, it was royalty or it's pure to be dirty, you know. And to the Egyptians came and the Moors and taught them how to be clean. Living with animals isn't a great thing. This is why if you ever notice, black people don't like dogs in the house or animals in the house like that, or animals on beds. If anything, the most they don't like animals on beds. Especially my grandfather. He would never let my dog in the house. And he was like a small little Jack Russell Terrier mixed with a Labrador. He did not like that shit in the house. That's where most of that stuff comes from. It comes from blacks because I believe personally blacks were Moors. You know? That's why hold on one second. Oh yeah. They had it so bad their babies were being born blind. Yeah. Facts, Lala.
To its highest degree,
No,
you
that's
European
not
whites,
correct.
that is
The
correct.
Arabs,
It is
the
fact.
Arab slave
No,
tribe was
the
worse
Arab
because
slave.
they castrated
No,
the
hold on.
Africans.
Hold on one
That's why
second.
they.
Hold on one second. Hold on one second. I said this earlier. When you guys are being examined for your crimes, you're like, hey, look over there. Hey, what about the Arabs? We're not
No,
talking about the
I'm not
Arabs.
looking over there. I'm
We are
saying look
talking
within
about
them.
you. And we are
Yes.
talking about the hundreds of years of hypocrisy of you guys claiming that you could be people of God while doing the devil's work. You see, if you were really a Christian, you wouldn't try to make excuses for doing evil. Instead, you
I'm
would
not
say
trying to make
wholesale
excuses.
it was completely wrong to
I
kidnap
never.
people, to force them onto ships in brutal conditions, bring them away from their homeland, and then dominate them.
And what Marquett is doing, he's talking about historically, you know. But the thing, This is where it's very concerning when you're rationalizing why it's okay. You shouldn't rationalize why, you shouldn't rationalize what your ancestors did. This is why I'm gonna give you an example. And Marquez gonna give you a simpler example. Like that's like me, I steal your house, you know? I steal your house from you. Then I move my kids in the house and I die. Then my other family moves into the house. Then my extended family moves into the house. And they live there for 50, 100 years. Do you think you should get that house back? Even though I'm dead and the other person I stole the house is dead? Do you think that person's ancestors should, I mean, that person's family should get that house because both of them are dead, or should my family should just stay in the fucking house? You're gonna be thinking, you'll be like, nah, my family should still get that house because that's my family's property. That person who died, yeah, that was probably my great grandfather, but you shouldn't be living in a house. You stole that from my great grandfather. This is why I say black Americans still should get reparations. You stole generational wealth from black Americans. And the sad thing about it, the white supremacist is benefiting off of it. You can't just drink half the water and then after that say like, okay, let's be equal now. Let's split this other half right here. Let's start over. We're equal now. Let's drink this other half. After you already drunk that other water, and I'm already thirsty, and I'm only getting this a little bit of water. Hell no. They need reparation needs to be talked about. This is why reparations is on the table. This is why a lot of people are pushing back on reparations. And I'm gonna say this: y'all Caribbeans, y'all Africans, if y'all would have fell in line, y'all would have got the blueprint. Then after that, you would have got it even 3 times faster than Black Americans. But you're so worried about Black Americans getting reparations, something that is deserved to our people now. That nigga, y'all still living in shanty towns. Y'all could have been got that shit fixed. You know why? Because you would have had backup. You would have had one of the strongest peoples in the world, Black Americans, backing you up. You talk about taking the whole pie and splitting it. We know how that shit goes. We know how that shit goes. We've seen this shit far too much. We already seen that far too much. So at the end of the day, it is what it is.
And with violence, both of the mental and physical variety, not to mention the sexual violence. You were really agreeing that you could talking about the hundreds of years of hypocrisy of you guys claiming that you could be people of God while doing the devil's work. You see, if you were really a Christian, you wouldn't try to make excuses for doing evil. Instead, you would say wholesale, it was completely wrong to kidnap people, to force them onto ships in brutal conditions, bring them away from their homeland, and then dominate them with violence, both of the mental and physical variety, not to mention the sexual violence that was done to man, woman, and child. You would say it's wrong across the board. It's the darkest part of our history, and I will not defend it. But instead, you are a part of the white organization, and it is that subconscious driver, which is why you are here to defend white supremacy, and why you are here to pretend as though you are not a part of a group of people who are utterly guilty and vicious.
Can I finish?
Go on.
Can I talk? Am I able to talk? Can you hear me?
Of course I can hear you. Everyone can
Okay,
hear
perfect.
you. We're hoping we might hear some truth.
Yes. No, I completely hate the slave trade, and I completely hate the whole slave trade that happened around the whole world. The only thing I'm trying to say is the British Empire was the only empire that tried to stop slavery. At that time, during those times, there was the Arab slave trade of Africa. The only reason why
Again,
they aren't
mentioning the Arabs.
Africans.
We're talking about the Arabs again. When the Arabs show up on this live session, let's talk about the Arabs. This is utterly bizarre. It's like I predicted what you will do, and you keep doing it. The thing that is really strange to me is,
why can't
and
you
this is
acknowledge
how
the
mental.
end of slavery?
No, real quick. This is how
The
mental
British
you guys
Empire
are.
decided to end slavery. Why can't
Yes,
you
but you
acknowledge
all-
that as a good thing?
No, I cannot, and I'll tell you why. Because if the British
Why?
Empire didn't start it, they.
Give me a second, everybody. I'll be back in 30 seconds. I want to answer your question, Black Snow Bunny King. The question I want to say is, y'all are probably leading your reparations in the Caribbean for the Caribbeans and the Africans, but for the Black Americans, you have sabotaged it. That's all y'all have been doing was sabotaging. So, what you're doing is you're deflecting on what Black Americans are doing, and I think that's very foul and distasteful. But let's finish.
Wouldn't have needed to end it. You see, I.
British
You guys
Empire
are.
decided to end slavery. Why can't
Yes,
you
but you
acknowledge
all-
that as a good thing?
No, I cannot, and I'll tell you why. Because if the British
Why?
Empire didn't start it, they wouldn't have needed to end it. You see, I
Because
cannot
they were
acknowledge
slaves
that.
before
You
the
see,
British Empire even existed.
I tell you
They
what,
were slaves.
if I
They
walk
were
over
slaves
to
in
your
all
car,
over the.
my dear boy, if I walk over to your car and I break all the windows and then I come back and repair the windows years later, I don't deserve an award for repairing the windows that I broke. Okay,
But if
the
all the
British
windows were
Empire
being
gets no
broken
kudos
before,
for
it's
that.
the same
The
thing.
British Empire is an extremely vicious group of people who not only made Africans suffer, they did the same thing to the Native Americans, they did the same thing to the Aborigines in Australia, they did the same thing to those in India. So what you
Okay,
need
can
to
you-
acknowledge is that they are uniquely vicious and evil. And there is no other explanation other than a genetic explanation.
Can I ask you something? Can you
course
acknowledge
you
that
can. I'm here to teach.
that there are slaves in Africa being slaved by Africans? Can you acknowledge that as a fact right now? Because that is a fact. There are slaves in Africa being slaved.
You
by
said that's a
Africans.
fact. I really like how you said that with the confidence. Where have you been and seen Africans enslaving Africans? And let me be clear, because you guys have kind of messed the definition of African. An African is one who fits into the Negroid category.
Yeah.
I have a work called The Black Code. I recommend for all of the black peoples. You can get it at skool.com/marquett/classroom. It's called The Black Code. It's for all the black people. I define specifically what it is to be black because we seemingly have forgotten. But it's someone who fits into the obsolete category of Negroid defined by anthropologists of the past, simply said. So where on earth can you tell me of black Africans organizing the enslavement of other black Africans in 2026? Where have
Somalia.
you seen that?
Somalia.
I said, where have you seen that? So you have been to Somalia and seen this?
He lying. He lying. He lying.
How many slaves did you buy when you were there?
I didn't buy.
Were they going for the low? You went to Somalia to buy some slaves? How many did you get while you were there? You went to Somalia to buy some
Can I
slaves?
ask you something? Have you been to Central Africa?
You,
Have you seen the
yes,
lifestyle there?
yes. Chad,
Yes. Have you?
Niger, Central African
Yeah.
Republic. Yes, I absolutely
Yeah.
have. I've also been to
Yeah.
Somalia, and as well, I've been to Hargeisa. So where in Somalia were you?
And there's no slaves there.
One moment, my dear boy. Where in Somalia were you?
I was in the Horn. I went there by the ship. We stopped off.
You
We
you were
dropped.
in the Horn. Well, the whole country kind of is in the Horn now, isn't it? I have a feeling that you're lying, and I'll tell you the truth. You see, I did actually go searching to see a place where slaves are sold. I went to Mauritania because often the whites say that Mauritania still has slavery today. I didn't see any. I've been to Somalia. I've not seen any. I've been to Niger. I've been to Chad. I've not seen any. Now, Libya, for example, you might be able to see some. And those are Arabs enslaving blacks. You were lying about having been in Somalia. And this is something I said earlier about the white organization, is that all that you are and all that you have is held up by a house of cards called lies.
Yeah.
You've never been in Somalia and seen blacks and
He's looked like he's getting beat up, Lala Brown. I'm gonna be personally honest. He looks beat up, man. He looks like he can't answer another question. He's gonna pass out if he answer another question. You know, I don't have no sympathy for him. He started the question. He started asking these questions, and he got his answers. You know, he can't really be mad.
enslaving blacks. And what's more, many Somalis wouldn't even call themselves blacks.
Nope.
So if you'd been there, you'd maybe know that many of them think that they're quite Arab, and they're not. But that's their own issue.
Yeah.
So why do you have to lie to escape your responsibility of your heritage? That's all I'm asking is
I don't
embrace
know
the
why I
truth.
lied. Yeah, I don't know why I lied. I thought, yeah, you got me there. You're right.
And I
shouldn't have
respect you a
lied.
lot more than most people, because most people would just stick with their lie. And I'm
No, no,
uniquely
no, no. I said that because I heard a lot of things about slaves being in Africa, so I lied to say that I was there, and that's wrong of me. So I
I
apologize for
respect
that.
that. And
I
there's something
apologize.
called propaganda.
And it went.
Everybody, don't forget to like and subscribe and comment in the live chat. And also, don't forget to share. You can share the. I just need you to share the 5 different people. Um, it could be 5 different people. It can be 5 platforms. Definitely just share. Thank you. I do appreciate that.
Off my head, and yeah, I completely apologize about that.
Oh yeah.
I
That
forgive you,
was
and
wrong
I
of me.
respect you as a man for having come clean, because very few do. And
Sorry about
lies and propaganda are not new or unique. For example, the president of my country claimed that there was a genocide in South Africa being taken out on white people, which was also a lie. And the reason that he said that is so that he could import white people into the United States of America, so that whites are not a minority. And you mentioned earlier being and feeling like a minority. And what I said to you, which you seem to struggle with, is the fact that because you are merely a teaspoon of milk in a world of color, it is that minority status, that minority reality that makes you guys vicious. And your violence is not only of the physical variety, it's also of the intellectual and
Yo,
spiritual
my man's getting
variety.
I don't
triggered.
And
feel
you
like I'm a vicious person, though.
Yes, I understand that. And for example, if you would go to prison, there's a great many people who believe themselves to be innocent, but they are guilty. And that's okay.
So, but I want to ask you: do you think the African race is superior to the white race?
In what?
Well, you keep whitewashing white people as superior, and you don't you whitewash us as inferior Neanderthal genes that we are trying to impose our viciousness
No,
on people.
I'm just describing. I'm
Okay.
recounting.
So
I'm not
so
thinking.
do you believe that all humans are equal and one, and there's no superior race? 'Cause I believe
Equality
that.
is not a real thing. Equality is a lie that many Westerners have used to control people or to fool people. There are very few things that are equal outside of mathematics. Hierarchy is the reality. And
I
certainly of
understand
all
that.
the peoples who believe in equality, the Europeans would be least among them. The blacks, in their nature as a collective, I've observed it is quite feminine, and it is certainly more egalitarian, which has been to their detriment. And for that, the whites have easily been able to dominate the blacks. The
Facts,
nature of the white male,
facts, Lala. I agree too. He's struggling.
or shall we say, the white organization, and the black peoples is different. It's remarkably different. So if you ask me which is superior, it depends on at what. For example, if you said, who's better at robbing, stealing, and killing, I'd say the whites by far. Like this is what they do. They're very good at it.
But that's such a whitewash thing because what when you say robbing, stealing, and stuff, what robbing and stealing are you talking about? Because
That's a
I've
very good
been lived
question.
in South
I'd be happy
African,
to
and
answer
I've
it. You said what
can I say
robbing and stealing.
can I explain my experience in South Africa?
Okay, so you're not asking me a question.
No, I want to explain an experience
Okay,
because you said
all right.
you think that the white person is superior at robbing, stealing, and
And
doing these sorts of
killing,
things.
yes.
Yes, yes. So I grew up in South Africa. As a white man, I was only being stolen and robbed from by Africans. Not one
Okay,
white person stole and robbed from me.
all right.
So to say that from my view of life, to say that the white person is superior, that completely goes against my complete experience of life because I've only been robbed and stolen from African people.
Okay, so do you yield the floor?
Yes.
Okay, fantastic. So, one, we've already busted you lying 15 separate times. You admitted to one of the times, and 15, I've been
I've
counting.
lied
Yes,
once to say going to
I have been
Somalia.
counting. I have been counting. And you admitted to one of them, and I admire that because that's one more time than most would have admitted to. So that's number one. I'm sorry if you'd give me a moment. So that's one more time than most of you would have admitted to. Inasmuch as you have a proven record as a liar as an individual, and your collective has a proven record of lying, it would be hard to believe that your story is true, that you've been stolen from blacks
But it is true.
only. But let me take that as true, because even with that lie, it still does not negate my greater argument, which I will make now. So I'm going to take that as truth. You're saying that you have been stolen from by the blacks in South Africa, which also makes sense in as much as you hold the wealth, which you family stole, and the blacks are living in squalor. And I know because I've seen it. So let's
Yeah,
take that as true.
he said, yo, let's say he said, let's say that they did steal, even though your family stole it too. Yo, he's what?
So I'm going to take that as truth. You're saying that you have been stolen from by the blacks in South Africa, which also makes sense in as much as you hold the wealth, which your family stole, and the blacks are living in squalor. And I know because I've seen it. So let's take that as true. You're saying some blacks that, like, what are some examples of things they've stolen from you? I just want to
Uh,
make a comparative basis real quick.
when I was a child, at 10 years old, I lived in a house with my family, and I had four people come into my house with guns and hold my whole family up, steal everything I had, and then left. They also took my mother's car.
This is a reaction video, Shabaka. This isn't about Pan Africanism and all this other shit. Cause I don't see you in South Africa fixing it. There's 80%. There's 80% of poor. There's 80% of Black Africans, and like damn near, there's only 5% that are actually like wealthy in that country. So you're not really helping. I know. But be giving Yakuba vibe. Yeah. Hey yo, you know what, Lala? Have you seen that video where the ugly African guy marrying that little pretty dark skinned African girl, and she looked like she didn't want to be married, and the guy put the cake in his mouth and he try to make the girl eat it. That nigga looks like Yakub. Yes, he looks like Yakub. Yeah. Yo, real talk, he looks like Yakub.
It was a very traumatic experience. I was held to a gun in my head, and that's the truth.
Yes, I understand. And if that is something that happened, that is certainly a traumatic thing. So they stole your mother's car and took
Everything.
things out of the house.
They held us hostage for 2 hours and took everything and left.
Oh, they're very inefficient, these robbers. Okay, so they stole your items in your home and then stole your mother's vehicle. And if this happened, I'd say that's a pity. Okay, so that's some stuff that blacks stole. And let me give you an example real quick of things that whites have stolen.
From me. Personally.
Yeah, I hear you. Yes, from you. Yes. And then whites have stolen the entire continent of North America. They've stolen the land bridge of Central America.
Happy
They've
Fourth,
stolen all of
Robin.
the Caribbean islands. Haiti used to be a very productive place. They stole it and abused the land such that the land is largely unproductive. Haiti used to be the jewel of the French Empire because of its productivity. Then they
Can I
stole
stop you? I'm talking about my life.
One
You're
moment,
talking
one
about
moment,
the
please.
history.
I didn't interrupt you. Then they stole the entire continent of South America. Then they stole the entire continent of Africa, colonized all of it except Ethiopia, and then they extracted all the resources. They were particularly vicious. For example, in Belgium, do you know they used to cut off the limbs of children when the parents wouldn't make the rubber quotas? Are you aware of that? You aware of what the whites did in Belgium? King Leopold? Do you know about this?
I know about King Leopold.
And you know that you whites would cut off the limbs of black children. Did you know that?
Yeah.
Yes, they were
I
Christians
don't
as
know
well.
that.
Let's get him.
Then they stole the entire continent of Africa, colonized all of it except Ethiopia, and then they extracted all the resources. They were particularly vicious. For example, in Belgium, do you know they used to cut off the limbs of children when the parents wouldn't make the rubber quotas? Are you aware of that? You aware of what the whites did in Belgium? King Leopold? Do you know about this?
I know about King Leopold.
And you know that you whites would cut off the limbs of black children. Did you know that?
Oh no.
Yes, they were
I
Christians
don't
as
know
well.
that.
They were
I'm
Christians, in
actually
case you
new
didn't
to
know
hearing
that.
that.
We'll take a little Google search when you finish up here. In addition, I'm still going. You guys stole the entire continent of Australia, and then the Aborigines, the black people who were originally there, you marginalized to the parts of the continent that don't have arable land so that they would suffer and not multiply. And so you guys not only steal land, but you also steal entire histories. You've stolen the history of the Egyptian, portraying them as white Europeans. You've stolen the history of Jesus, portraying him as a blonde, blue-eyed European, even though it doesn't make sense based on the part of the world he comes from, whether he's real or not real. You steal entire histories. You steal identities. You steal...
Shabaka, that's strike one. We're not talking about FBAs. We're talking about this reaction video. We don't want to hear about what Pan Africans gonna, shoulda, coulda, woulda done. All right? We don't want to hear that bullshit. All we know that they're not gonna do anything they're not gonna help South Africa. That's all we know. So that's strike one.
Life, you steal land. You are the greatest thief that has
You're
ever
pointing-
existed.
Facts,
You're
Lala,
pointing
bro.
at me like I did this.
You are here to benefit from it and to uphold it. That's why you're here. You're here to benefit from and uphold white supremacy.
Robin, Marquett is the worst person to. I'm telling you this. Marquett is the worst person to want you to. He's the worst person you think is gonna make you feel good about yourself. I don't know. This guy's from South Africa. He's an Afrikaner, so he's not in a good place right now. He looked like he looked like he did he did some China White and stayed up for 4 days.
To start moving forward as a collective group because we keep choosing white and black.
That's strike two, Shabaka.
It's like I told you about my experience, and you saying about
Yes,
the whole
but
history.
the problem
in your
is that-
personal experience. How have you personally? Can I ask you?
So, for
how
example,
you
if you found the guy who took your mother's car, you wouldn't want the car back.
No, yeah, of course.
Yeah, of course, because it's your car, right? So that
Yes.
land there that your family is on
and-
is not their land. They need to go home.
Robin, Robin be trolling and shit. Look at Robin. He always trolling. This is why I fuck with Robin. He's trolling every. I'm fine with telling me I mean. Yo, Robin's crazy. Oh my god, Robin.
Okay, but
Call up
if I'm
Dadula.
talking,
They need to go home.
I'm talking.
Go right. So that
Yes.
land there, that
Yeah, of course.
yeah, of course, because it's your car, right? So that
Yes.
land there that your family is
Yeah,
on
in-
is not their land. They need to go home.
Okay, but if
Call up
if I'm
Dadula.
talking,
They need to go home.
I'm talking about lifetime. You're talking about history. You cannot blame people.
No, it's not
for their
history.
crime.
It's history. It's the present. You guys are on stolen land presently. It's not history.
I was born in this land. How is that my fault?
You can leave. Go back to Europe and stay there.
How can I leave when I was born here? Both my parents were born here.
You're already in Europe. So what's the issue?
The issue is I have my whole family in South Africa, whole generations of family.
Yeah,
in
well,
South
pack
Africa
up and
that have
leave.
been
Go to
built
where
in.
you're from. Europe for the Europeans. That's you. Africa
Have you
for the
ever-
Africans.
Have you looked into Zimbabwe and Rhodesia?
Oh,
Don't do
no,
it.
don't set yourself up like that.
I'm not
and
trying to
again,
set myself
you,
up.
you
I'm
guys,
just
you guys
saying
are devils.
that's
Let me
what-
tell you. I love this. I'm
I'm
glad
a
you brought
devil.
that up. I already expected it. You're a little
I'm
bit
a
late
devil.
with that argument. Let me destroy it. Give me a moment. So you bring up Zimbabwe, which was a country that had the greatest black leader who has ever existed, which was one Sir Robert Mugabe. Do you know why he was called Sir? Do you know?
He's not great at all. He
Do you know why he
stole
was
the
called
money from the
Sir?
whole-
Shabaka, why don't you ever talk about Sir Robert Mugabe? Do you know who that is? Why you never talk about Sir Robert Mugabe? You know, all these African people you talk about, Patrice Lumumba, who else? Kwame Tora, the other Abraham. You talk about all these people except Sir Robert Mugabe. I don't think you know anything about Africa. Because that's the first person's name that you should be bringing up. I know a little bit about him, but Shabaka, when we talk about leaders, you should be talking about him. You talk about the Arab or Italian Gaddafi instead of Sir Robert.
Do you know why he was called Sir Robert
I don't
Mugabe?
know why. I don't know why he was called Sir, but I know.
So
that
how do you
he
know that he's
stole-
not great? That's an honorific title that comes from your people, the whites.
My people? The whites.
Yes, your people, the whites. Like,
Yes,
for example,
because the
my
queen-
people, the
because
blacks,
the queen-
your people,
because
the whites.
Because the Queen gave him the title Sir.
Yes, yes. And she gave him the
Yes.
title Sir because obviously he was a respectable, important, good guy.
The Rhodesians
When-
hate the British Empire because they threw the Rhodesians under the bus because of it.
When he was being a good boy, they gave him the title Sir. And then when he acted on behalf of his people, which is the responsibility of a head of state, then they stripped him of his title. Oh, you're not a good boy anymore. And the reason that Robert
picked all the
Mugabe,
white people.
you mustn't interrupt so much. That must be a sign of anger. Or you just don't want the truth to get out, which makes sense because the truth has been suppressed by you
I'm letting
guys.
you talk.
Okay.
Please
All
continue.
right. So you brought up Zimbabwe. You also used the colonial title of Rhodesia. And in the case of Zimbabwe, they fought for their freedom. And unlike the South Africans, they tried to extract the colonizers from their economy. You see, apartheid never ended because you guys still have economic domination in South Africa. And that's why the blacks still live in squalor and piss. Whereas those in Zimbabwe had a chance to actually rise up. And you whites are liars, and you try to suggest that it was mismanagement on the part of Zimbabwe that caused things to go awry, when in actual fact, the entire Western world put sanctions, economic sanctions on Zimbabwe, and the cowardly African leaders, and I understand they were young countries, most of them were birthed in the 1960s. My grandmother's older than most African countries. They were not able to to unify and support Zimbabwe. So it was isolated economically. And the United States, Britain, and all of the colonial.
Oh, now you want to talk about Sir Robert, huh? Now you want to talk about Sir Robert, huh? Shabaka, you ain't worth shit. I'm going to be personally honest. You ain't worth shit. I'm going to be personally honest. You talk about all this Lumumba and Stokely Carmichael, even W.E.B. Du Bois, he died in Africa. But you don't talk about Sir Adam, one of the greatest leaders in Africa, ever touched foot in Africa. You never talk about him. You're a piece of shit, Shabaka. You're a sad case. You know, I gotta say that, Shabaka. You are a sad case. Nah, we don't want to hear nothing now. We don't want to hear you copping please now. You know?
Colonial powers caused hyperinflation. They caused it. For example, you devils like to try this same argument. Well, look at Cuba. People are suffering. They're suffering because of the efforts of whites. Same thing with Iran. Look at Iran. The economy's bad. They're suffering because you whites always try to control. And when you can't control, you're willing to kill. And you kill through your economic sanctions, which not only block money and foreign currency, but it also blocks medicines from getting in. And it also blocks trade in critical minerals. It blocks everything that's needed for an export economy. And then you guys sit back and lie and pretend as though it's incompetence when really you devils are operating behind the scenes. Do you not understand the economic sanctions that went on Zimbabwe? You don't understand those? Or are you lying about it?
Oh, no.
The economic sanctions went towards the Rhodesian people because they didn't want to give the country to Mugabe. So the sanctions came because they didn't want to give the country to Mugabe.
Are you suggesting that Robert Mugabe's regime did not suffer any sanctions? Is that what you're suggesting? You're mad.
I don't know about the sanctions. I'm not going to talk about something that I don't know. But all I do know is I appreciate
it. So that's why I'm here and I've educated you. So when you suggest that the economy in Zimbabwe was poor because of the sanctions, this could not be further from, it should be poor because of mismanagement by blacks. This could not be farther from the truth. It was because of sabotage by whites.
It is mismanagement from the blacks because they decided
But imagine you're so certain, yet you've done no research. You're not letting
me finish.
You've done no research. You don't even know about the sanctions. You don't even know who Robert Mugabe is.
Sanctions, but I cannot finish. You're just cutting me off. Please let me finish.
You're trying to speak from ignorance. It's emotion.
You're not letting me speak though, so let me speak. All I'm saying is that when they gave the government to Mugabe, they gave him full power. Sanctions or not, Mugabe decided to kick all the white people, the farmers, out of the country. Correct? Is that not a fact? That is a fact. He wanted the land to be back for Africans.
No, he didn't kick out white people.
Yo, Shabaka's hurt. Yeah, Shabaka's hurt. Yeah. The reason why Shabaka's feelings is hurt right now because I told him, I was like, "What? Why you never talk about him? You talk about all these other niggas who are scammers, but you don't talk about the real freedom fighter, African freedom fighter. He's a freedom fighter. I understand, we give it Patrice Lumumba, but at the end of the day, Shabaka never said, "Oh, his own people got him killed. His own people didn't even have his back." But we look in we look in the United States. You fuck with one of our freedom fighters, we're burning down cities, states. We got guns everywhere. Yo, shit can get really fucked up where you have to call the security. Where you have to call, you have to call the military on us. We're the only, if you kind of look at it, in America, we're the only real race that really gets the military called on us because shit goes sideways. Historically, we're known for just fucking up shit,
People. He kicked out invaders who stole land that was not theirs.
But they were farmers providing food for the government. And when they left, you can even see There's a lot of videos that online of the local Zimbabwe people praising the white farmer to come back because he's able to provide food because he has knowledge of agriculture for the
No, that's not
population.
a true story, my dear boy. Again, you're making up
It
things, and
is.
it's actually quite a
Hmm.
sad thing to see someone just lie like this. It really
I'm not
is.
lying.
Now, since you're so knowledgeable on Zimbabwe, tell me about some of the sanctions that were put
I'm not
onto
so
the.
knowledgeable. I'm not
Yes,
so
no, you must be
knowledgeable.
because
Oh, so we want to do that? Okay. And Pop Smokes was a Caribbean, but he could still be a Black American because he was in Black American culture. Shout out to Pop Smokes. But let's talk about it. Why is Haiti's president not in Haiti? Who keeps on killing Jamaican politicians? Why is Nigerian? Why in Nigeria they are kidnapping civilians? Why are they having great parties in Nigeria? These are the questions I'm asking. How about that, Black Snow Bunny King? Since you want to do the black on black crime shit, what about your African countries? What about the Caribbean countries? Haiti don't got a president right now. Where is he? I think he's in Miami right now. Why isn't he helping Haiti? You can't play tit for tat, because at the end of the day, I, Africans don't want to be in Africa. Africa don't want to be in Africa. So you can't get mad at Black Americans because they don't want to fuck. They don't want to fuck with Africans or Caribbeans anymore. That's their choice. This is America. Stop trying to guilt trip and force people of helping. Nobody don't want to help. Black Snow Bunny King, y'all got it. Y'all strong. Y'all work hard. Remember, you came over here with $2 in your pocket. You know, you got this. Why do you care what foundational Black Americans or Black Americans do? We don't care. You're mad at Marquette because he's questioning a white Afrikaner. So you want to defend the white Afrikaner of colonizing South Africa. That's what you're doing. This is why I have a problem with you, Black Snow Bunny King. This is why this is very concerning. This is very concerning. You're defending this white Afrikaner while this guy who's a foundational Black American is helping and telling Afrikaners that, like, yo, this is what's happening to you. I'm broadcasting this. Marquette got a follower. He got followers that listen to him. But you're mad at a Black American helping an African people. This is why I always tell people stop helping Africans and Caribbeans and and the Latino people. Let them handle that shit themselves. This is why I always tell people let them handle that shit themselves. But the only good thing about this man came on this show and asked that question. He wanted to have this conversation with a teacher. So you're mad at Marquette for that? You're really mad at Marquette for that, Black Snow Bunny King. This is why I call you Black Snow Bunny King. You always find a way to defend white supremacy. You always find a way to defend white supremacy. You too, Shabaka. You too. We don't hear no Africans talking about this. We don't see no Africans with a big platform having a conversation with a white Afrikaner. Where is your Pan African channels that are having these conversations with these people? Where are they? You can't name one. Only thing these Pan Africans want to do is argue with foundational Black Americans. That's all y'all want to do. Me personally, like I said, I'm not going to help, but I will support you from a far distance. And this is why. This is why I don't help. And this is why I say I'm not a fucking humanitarian. Because people like you, Shabaka, people like Black Snow Bunny King. Yeah, he's exposing it, but he's foundational Black American. Where is the Caribbeans? Where are the Africans that's doing this? Why does a foundational Black American always got to be Big Brother again? We always got to be Big Brother. None of your people help. Where are the Jamaicans that's having this conversation, Black Snow Bunny King? And I'll wait. Oh, no answer? No answer? Okay. You welcome in advance. Foundational Black American always have to save y'all niggas. Y'all niggas is lazy. Where is the Pan-Africans? Where are the Pan-Africans? Shabaka talk about they're on their way. They've been going through this shit for like the last 30, 40 years. They didn't see no motherfucking Pan-African. This is why they told you they don't want you in South Africa. That's why we had that show 2 months ago to show you that Pan-Africans, they don't fuck with that shit in South Africa. They denounce that shit. They don't want you in that fucking country. That's what a South African said. They don't want your raggedy ideology in that fucking country. Another African said that. I think she was from what? Kenya. She said, we don't want Pan-Africanism. That got nothing to do with us. No, they do not speak up. There's always a Black American face speaking up for South Africa, Nigeria, Ghana, Senegal, Ethiopia, fucking Uganda, Zimbabwe, Chad, Nigeria. There's none of y'all. None of y'all speak up. There's always a Black American face. I just told you to name one. You couldn't even name one, Black Snow Bunny King.
You're telling me why they were in poverty, so you must be an economist. So as an economist, would you please just tell me about one sanction that the whites put on the Mugabe regime? Tell me about one.
I just told you this before. I don't know about sanctions, and I'm not knowledgeable about the sanctions. But I do know.
Well, then how can you explain why their economy suffered if you don't know anything about the sanctions?
Because my mom was born in Rhodesia.
I thought she was
I
born.
thought you said that your parents are South African, because I asked you that earlier. You lied. That's lie number 16.
Oh, no.
No, my mom was born in Rhodesia and she grew up in South Africa. My dad was born in South Africa.
What's going on, Dorothy?
So your mother isn't even South African.
She actually wrote a book.
Rhodesian. She shouldn't even be there.
This show is about Black Americans always helping Africa again. We always got to help Africa. We always got to shine light to what's going on in Africa. Every time. Where's the Pan-Africans? Since you want to talk about Pan-Africans and what they gonna do, and it's always shoulda, coulda, woulda. Oh, they on their way. They on their way, Shabaka, right? Pan-Africans is on their way to South Africa. They'll get there in 2068. They'll be there. Don't worry. Pan-Africans is coming. Give them another 20, 30 years. They'll make it. They'll make it, yeah. They'll be there in 20, 30 years. Talk about we made it after the Black Americans already solved the fucking problem. As always. We always solve the fucking problem. We're always the fucking equation. I'm just being personally honest with you. Where's the Jamaicans? Where's the Africans? Where's the Haitians? Not even Africa want to save South Africa. Like, come on, let's personally. We always gotta save them. I told you to put. Facts, Lala. Yeah, you're right. I'm gonna do that. We always gotta save them niggas. We always gotta save you, Black Somebody came. We had to save Jamaica. The Shower Posse could have saved y'all, and y'all niggas was fucking crazy in America. Y'all couldn't even save Jamaica. How y'all doing all this crazy shit in America, but once y'all get back home, y'all just regular citizens? Y'all niggas is wildin'. Y'all niggas is crazy. Like, what is y'all? What is really going on with y'all? Y'all civil rights, freedom fighters in y'all country? Y'all waiting for another fucking? What y'all waiting for? A reincarnation of fucking Nelson Mandela? That's who y'all waiting for? A reincarnation of him? Yeah, that's what y'all waiting for.
She shouldn't even
She
be
actually wrote a
there.
book.
Huh. So you lied at the beginning when you said your mother was South
He said
African.
both parents.
Do you know what you actually are?
A liar.
Yes,
What
I'm
are you
South
really? No, sir.
South
You're not
African.
South African. What are you really?
South African.
I'm asking you politely if you'd be
Okay.
honest. What are
Well,
you
if
really?
you want, do you want to know where my forefathers were born? Is that what you're asking?
I'm asking what are you really?
I believe I am really a South African.
One moment. Hey there. I see that the
10 minutes. I have to work tomorrow.
sure.
So
Yes. So real quick before you go, what are you really?
I believe I'm South African, but I can explain to you my heritage.
We also have a guy in America called Bruce Jenner, and he believes that he's a woman. But I'm asking, what are you really?
Oh,
I'm a human being.
oh shit.
At some level, yes. But I'm asking, what are you really? Like what is your race? Where do you belong?
I'm a human race. I believe everyone.
Black Americans saved New Orleans. Only thing that the Haitians has done, and I'm gonna be personally honest, they expanded slavery. They expanded the slave trade in America. That's all they did. I'm just gonna be personally honest. That's what the Haitians did when they won the war. They didn't help Black America. They didn't give us no symbolic message saying that, oh yeah, this is what we did. We see what Haitians did when they tried to fight the war in America. They lost. They got slaughtered. They got violated. They had to call Black Daddy in to save again. They had to help Shabaka. If Black Americans don't help Africa, who's gonna help Africa? What, Africans? The Pan African Organization? Like, y'all still blaming Tariq Nasheed for nothing. Y'all still on Tariq Nasheed. Y'all forgot about Africa. Y'all forgot about helping Africa. Y'all trying to shut down foundational Black Americans' lineage. Y'all have a problem with Black Americans' ethnicity. You're mad that Black Americans don't want to be called African American. None of them people care about Black people. None of them do. I'm talking about Trump. I'm talking about Biden. I'm talking about Bush. I'm talking about Clinton, Reagan, Nixon, also known as Tricky Dicky. All of them niggas. Roosevelt, they didn't care. Like, come on, why you acting like there was one that cared? None of them cared. Let's not do that.
Everyone's human. I don't believe we should keep pointing fingers and blaming people from where they come from and the history.
No,
I
they
believe we
Okay,
should
I'm
didn't.
gonna give
move
you a little bit of
forward,
time to think
continue.
about that. I'll give you a
No,
little.
they didn't. You know what they did? Once they won the war, Napoleon sold Louisiana to America, and all it did is expand the slave trade. That's all it did, Shabaka. You can't sit here and lie. The Haitians didn't help, and what's so worse about it, they signed a fucking treaty. They signed a fucking plea deal. A treaty, nigga. Like, what am I lying about? What am I lying about? They signed a fucking treaty. Your people signed a treaty. And I love Haitian people, but they signed a fucking treaty. They signed a guilty plea. And they paid reparations. And they just stopped paying it, what, 3 or 4 years ago, and their country's in shambles. They drained They drained Haiti so bad that them niggas was eating dirt cookies. That's how bad Haiti was down. They were eating dirt cookies. What are we talking about? Am I lying? Did France have them that broke that they were eating dirt cookies? Am I lying? No answer? Okay, nigga. And I'm not trying to be hateful or disrespectful, but them niggas wasn't really eating that shit. Like, come on. Why would I lie to you?
Bit of time to think about it. Just tell me what your race is. Hey there.
I'm throw
Yes,
fucking
I can hear
Haiti
much
up
better.
in there.
Truth. Yeah, that's what.
I know what you want me to say.
Yeah, the
I know
truth.
what you want me to say.
Yes, the truth. Yeah, that's what I want you to say. The truth. What race are
I'm
you?
20. My genetics lean down to European, if that's
Okay.
what you're trying to get at. But
you
I
know
was born in
which-
South Africa, and both my parents were born in.
Shabaka. Aliens have a better chance of making it to South Africa than the Pan Africans do. And niggas, and a lot of niggas don't believe in aliens. And I'm not talking about illegal people. I'm talking about fucking a creature. They got a better chance waiting for Martians to get to South Africa than fucking Pan Africanism helping South Africa. Like, I'm gonna be personally honest. That's sad. I gotta wait for ET to come and save me than Pan Africans. The Pan Africans are not gonna help. Like, let's first. Y'all got a better chance than ET coming to South Africa and living in shanty towns with y'all niggas than Pan Africanism helping.
Southern Africa. My mom was born in Rhodesia. My dad was born in South Africa.
Hold on, hold on. You know what? I'm about to do a poll. Who got a better? Who's gonna make it in South Africa to help? Is it the Pan African or ET? Who got a better chance of helping Africa? ET or Pan African? Let's see what the audience say. Let's see. You know what? I'm gonna put that out there. Who is going to help South Africa? Hey yo, everybody, give me like 45 seconds. I'll be back, man. I gotta run to the bathroom. I've been drinking juice all day.
All right, everybody, I'm back. Let me see this poll already, man. I know Shabaka. Y'all niggas said ET 75% ET. Y'all niggas is crazy. All right, let's keep on going. All right, y'all niggas is nuts. Niggas is crazy. Niggas said ET. Yo, Shabaka's eating.
Yeah. My
Okay.
dad's parents, my
Uh-huh.
dad's dad was born in Greece. My
Yes.
my dad's mother was born in Sweden. My mother's dad was born in Ireland, and my mother's mother was born in England. So
Understood.
I'm generally a European genetic born in South Africa, if that's what you
Yes.
want to know.
Okay, fair. And you know what? I think we can just simply say white, if you like, or European, however you like to call it.
Okay.
But if I was living in China, for example, say I was born in China,
Uh-oh.
would you call me
Okay.
Chinese?
If both your parents and were born in China and
Yes.
you learn Chinese, I would say yes, you would be Chinese.
Well, they don't speak Chinese, they speak Mandarin or Cantonese. But
Yeah.
if both my parents were born in China and I live in China, would you call me Chinese?
From looking at you, I would not call you Chinese. But if
That's
you said I
that's
am
right.
Chinese
You
because I
see,
was born in there,
you
but
wouldn't
you
call me Chinese because I'm not Chinese.
Mm.
That's why you wouldn't call me Chinese. And here's the kicker: the
but I want to
Chinese.
ask.
One moment, the Chinese would also not call me Chinese, even if I told them, hey, I was born here, my parents were born here, and they'd say that's fine, but you're not Chinese. The same thing is true in Japan. Same thing is true in Saudi Arabia.
The same thing if my dad, who
You'd be
was
a
born in
resident
Greece,
alien.
went to England, they would say, "You're not English, you're Greek."
Well,
But they're
maybe
both my
listen,
parents.
if he's Greek, then
What
he's
about
Greek.
yeah? But
If he's Greek,
what
then he's
about
Greek.
people that are what about people that are biracial and they're born and the parents born
We're
in
talking
Africa
about
Nah,
and the
you
don't do
and
mother?
you're
that.
white.
Don't do
We're
that.
talking about
Yes,
you and you're
You're
white.
a white
yes,
guy. Come on.
Yes.
yes.
So you know where to go. It's called Europe. Go
Yeah.
home.
No,
You
my
know where to
home's in
go. Go
Africa.
home. No,
My
sir.
home's in
No,
South
sir.
Africa.
You're not even designed for Africa. You spend too much time at African
That shit
sun,
will
you
kill
will
you.
perish. You're not designed for Africa. Go back to your home, the caves of Europe. Less direct sunlight.
What I want to ask you is, what's your end goal about telling white people to go to their home? And
You
if,
don't think that
like,
sounds
for
logical,
example,
though? One moment. You don't think
uh,
that's logical? China for the Chinese,
no,
Africa for the Africans, Europe for the
no,
Europeans? That's
because
not
the
reasonable.
economy is developed in such a way that everything is multicultural and everyone works together now. So if you tell everyone
No,
to
no,
go to
that's
their
not
home
true.
location,
Everyone's
the
not
world
working
will not
together. The
function.
whites are still going around the world stealing
No,
from everyone.
Hmm.
Marquette, what's the example of that? Look at Venezuela.
Oh no!
The
Took
whites
their
went into
Oreos.
Venezuela, kidnapped the president, and now they're stealing the oil directly. Oh, Marquette, you mentioned oil. What are the other oil-rich nations where the whites seem to be so
so
entrenched? Look at Libya. They went in and murdered the leader, Muammar Gaddafi.
Yep.
Curious. And is that the only place you could name Marquette? No, it's endless. So no, we're not integrated. It's still the
of
whites
course we
stealing
integrated.
from the people who have melanin. And
But
that's always been the
when are we going
story
to stop
since the
talking
whites
about
came into
color?
existence. When you guys
Okay.
start behaving like human beings, but we can
Am I
see that
not?
you're different because of your behavior. So should we pretend to be blind? That wouldn't make sense. Blindness is a disability,
How do you think
isn't it?
I'm not behaving like a human being?
Come on.
Am I
Come on.
am I causing physical
Why,
harm on
why do you
African people
deny
today?
history? Why do you deny history?
I don't deny history. I've just told you history, and I didn't deny anything. What did I deny? Please bring
My
back
dear
something I
boy.
denied.
But let me acknowledge some of the folks,
Okay,
maybe the
actually, I
audience.
have to go in 2 minutes.
Yeah,
We
it's
can
Sure,
time to
sure,
run,
close this
man.
soon. Yeah, it's
sure. Let me.
not too. I don't want to just hang up. Seem like I'm
No, I totally
trying to
understand.
run away from anything, but I
I
do
would
have
run.
to work.
No, I would
Yeah,
honestly
you
run.
run for that
But
work,
let
man.
me see what questions folks have for you. No, really, I would. I would run. It's just truth all at once.
I know.
Let's see.
I know.
May I acknowledge via via PayPal? Shout out to Mr. Chapman. He writes, "If I didn't know better, I'd say this fellow is a politician. His act of lying with a straight face to push the narrative must have been trained. That is why I asked you if you learned that story in primary school or in high school, because it was actually quite ridiculous that you tried to suggest that the blacks in South Africa had also colonized. I thought that was quite bizarre and laughable.
I know.
Anyways, may I also acknowledge via Stripe, shout out to Gabriel and Gary supporting using the Stripe link. May I also acknowledge via PayPal, we have Kirsten, and let's see, I think folks are going to probably have some questions for you. We have Kirsten, and he writes, not a thing, just came in supporting the work. Okay, very good. I also acknowledge Juan. He writes, peace of the saints for the love of the game. Appreciate you. Shout out to the real ones. I also acknowledge Yolanda writes, peace of the saints, nice work again. I appreciate you. And via PayPal, we have Mr. Chambliss. He writes, mantra to keep in mind, the lying liar lieth, still they lie their lies. Seems like people think they're not telling the truth. Shout out to Ricardo. He writes, peace and saints tuition. Wishing you well, Mr. Burton. I don't know why anyone would want to go against you. You have to be a hateful person and not love yourself to go against the ism. Oh, I totally agree. It is bizarre. May I also acknowledge Iram. She writes, assalamu alaikum. Wa alaikum assalam. Jazakallah khair for all of the work you do, Iram. I appreciate you. Shout out to Jamal. He writes, simply tuition. Appreciate you. May I also acknowledge Wayne writes, peace of the saints tuition. Okay, and then we're just going to acknowledge the super chat, see if folks have some questions for you. And you know, the funny thing too is that you came here to defend colonialism, which to me is amazing because it only signals that the white organization remains unchanged, even when your atrocities are.
Yo, that shit is crazy. I don't know why would anybody try to defend that. I wouldn't even defend that on my best day, on my worst day of the week. You know, so
exposed, you don't feel any shame. So, you know,
I do,
no,
but I don't
no,
feel like
you literally said that colonialism was a good thing.
Fact,
I
yeah,
asked you directly, and you said yes, it's a good thing.
Yes, but you asking me that you said I don't feel shame.
Okay, but it's a good thing. Extraordinary. Project Manga writes, I'm here to stay saint. You have a supporter for life. I appreciate you, and that will be tested. Nicaragua writes, does he mean positive for everyone or just whites? He means just whites, but he thinks it's for everyone. Shout out to Project Monger, came in twice. I also acknowledge 8838 writes, peace of the saints. Shout out to Rogue Knowledge writes, support and appreciation for the defense of the good peoples of the world. Oh, it's my pleasure. Shout out to Enrique writes, peace of the saints. In your opinion, why were African leaders who wanted a united Africa taken out? Muammar Gaddafi, Patrice Lumumba. Was it mainly because of the whites or are black traders? The black traders work for the whites. The black traders are themselves victims of white supremacy.
I
Shout
said
Enrique,
it.
he writes, my payment on PayPal. Oh, yeah, I saw that one. Shout out to Micah, came in supporting the work. Looks like he's from South Africa. Shout out to Mike. He writes, the devil hates accountability. Peace of saints. Oh, you better believe it. Truth is something they don't like. Nova writes, he said, murderers should be hanged, but nobody should be hanged. He might be on substances. Oh, well, that's what I said earlier. When you confront the white supremacists, they become irrational because in the face of the truth. They have to lie. Shout out to Landmark 22 writes, Haiti was the first and Britain was a business move. Also acknowledge Nova writes, they win with deception and lies. In the wild, animals have a peculiar design on their body to appear as something they are not. Yes, indeed. And these are the ones who are the devil, but dress in the robes of the angel. Shout out to Chris. He writes, I read the black box.
Yo, it's hurt his feelings.
His
feelings is getting
the
hurt.
white people the devil. It's
Well, they do evil, so that doesn't add up to you. It's like saying 1 + 1, 2.
I don't think all white people do evil. It's a very forceful thing.
You
It's
see,
like
when you think about it,
you-
it's the organization. I call you guys the white
Yeah,
organization.
I believe that there are organizations that do evil, but you cannot just point at the white man.
Traitors.
I just feel like this pointing
Well,
at
who
skin
else
color
has
should dissipate.
committed 43 genocides? Like, who else committed 43 genocides? Let's simplify real quick. Let's simplify. Let's say there's 3 racial categories: Caucasoid, Mongoloid, Negroid. If you like white, black, Asian. Who has committed any genocides comparable to that of the Caucasoid?
Genghis Khan.
Okay, Genghis Khan. Okay, there's one. What else?
Okay. Well, I mean, that's a big one. That's 10% of the world's population.
No, sir. What else?
I don't have any off the top of my head. I'm sorry.
Off the top of your head. Okay.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
so
yeah.
you have one example.
Yeah, that's all that came off the top of my head.
Okay, well, off the top of my head, I can think of 43 separate genocides that whites have created. And that's not all of them. That's just off the top of my
Anyways,
head.
we've been talking for a long time. As much
That's
as
just
I
off the
would
top of my
love
head.
to continue, yeah,
I
as
bet
much
you.
as I would love to
bet
just,
you would love to hear more truth about the evils of your people. You heard that they're
Evils of our
devils. We gave
people.
the evidence, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh, I gotta leave. And I don't blame you. I appreciate you having shown up.
Run, Afrikaner.
All I want to say is that
Run, Afrikaner.
I love African people, and I want the best for them all. My sister is
Leopold
black.
III, yep. He used to
And
cut
I
hands
have
off.
nothing against everyone,
Limbs.
and I don't believe that people should be judged from the history of their culture. And I would like
It's the
to end it on
present.
that.
You still haven't given back what you stole. And you also won't even give up the
I
truth.
haven't stolen anything.
We know you're not going to give up
personally.
any of the
I
material.
haven't
You won't even
stolen
give up the truth.
anything personally. If anything's been stolen from me, it's I haven't stolen from anyone.
Would you give
So
it?
to
Would you,
blame that
will you
on me
give back what's been
personally
stolen?
from my heritage? What was stolen?
Shabaka, how can we be traitors if because we stop helping? That shit don't make no sense. Y'all never help Black Americans. So at the end of the day, one hand washes the other, and you haven't been helping. So you know that's a you
From
problem.
my
Interesting.
from
Let me ask
That's a you problem.
you a question.
past.
Let me ask you a question.
You really
The guy who stole your mom's car, if he takes your mom's car and gives it to his son, is it still your mom's car?
yes.
Okay. And if his son gives it to his son, is it still your mom's car?
No.
Okay. Why all of a sudden is it not your mom's car?
Because the son gave it to his mom. It's not his son's car.
Okay. I'm
He
just going
didn't
to
have
repeat
any
what
connection to his mother.
I'm just going to repeat what I said to make sure that you're tracking.
Yeah.
You
Mm-hmm.
have a mother. You said a black came in and stole your mother's car. I said that black male who stole your mother's car gives that car to his son. Then I asked you, is it still your mom's car? You said yes. I said, okay.
Yes.
Then if the son gives that car to his son, is it still
Okay, I
your mother's
understand now.
car?
Yes, it is still my mother's car.
It's
Yeah.
still your mother's car. No matter how many times they pass on that car, it's still your mother's car. Is that correct? I agree with
correct.
you there. And what I'm telling you is you guys showed up and you stole resources, you stole land, you stole diamonds, you stole emeralds, you steal gold, you stole people's lives, you stole people's histories, you stole their futures. But let's just talk about the diamonds, for example.
Can I stop you there?
No,
Because
no, don't stop me there. Don't stop me. Don't stop me. Let me finish. No. It's
hurt.
you're saying it's not
It's
you.
really
Let me
hurt.
finish. You stole all these resources, which we also call wealth. And that wealth from the people who stole it directly was passed on to their sons. And then their sons passed it on to their sons. And then their sons passed it on to their sons. So you're still holding something that was stolen by your forefathers and you've not given it back. Just like we took the example that you claimed a black person stole your mother's car. Well, no matter how many times they passed that down to their son, it was still stolen and it needs to be returned to its rightful owner. And that is why I say Europe for the Europeans. You guys need to go home and give up what you stole.
And if you do that, then the economies will collapse.
Well, that's your theory based on your white supremacist
No, it's a
ideology.
fact.
Oh,
It
That's
happens
based
every
on
day.
white supremacist
We got
ideology.
him.
Let me give
We
you an
got
example
him.
since you so well studied.
Okay, we're going to
Botswana.
keep going on this, but I really have to go work tomorrow. I can't
Oh,
keep
well, then
talking
stop
about
lying.
this.
Accept the truth.
I'm not lying.
You
I'm
don't want to talk
accepting the
about
truth.
Botswana. Stable
I just-
democracy, stable economy,
just spoke
respectable
about
per capita income,
Botswana
run
now.
by blacks.
Now,
Do you know anything
Because
about
very-
He's
Botswana?
hurt. He's hurt.
Do you know anything about
Yes.
Botswana?
yes.
Is Botswana not the
No,
gem of
but-
Africa? What about the last half century? Have you not been paying attention?
It is a beautiful place, yes. And
Uh-huh.
it wasn't.
You, see,
yes.
that's how I know you're a white supremacist, because your thesis is that if whites leave, everything will collapse because the blacks are incompetent.
the whites
your
never
your
went
suggestion
into
is that
Botswana.
blacks are genetically inferior when it comes
never
to
said
intellect.
that.
That's your
I
yes, you
never
did
said
say
that.
that. You said that by suggesting that they cannot manage a government and an economy. That's
No, I
exactly
didn't
what
say
you're
they
saying.
cannot. They
but
can, they
you're
just haven't.
dishonest. You're dishonest, and the difference is you get mad at me when I
You did say that because you said, if all the whites leave, the economy will collapse. this is where he fucked up at. That is white supremacist, and this is why I say he has a white supremacist ideology. You know.
call you a devil, the nature of the black man is to be honest. And so I'm looking you in your eyes and telling you that you are a devil and you are vicious and deceitful.
Yeah.
But you, on the other hand, you look at us and you try to call us incompetent. You try to call us intellectually inferior, but you don't come out and say it directly. You say it indirectly and say, well, if the whites leave, everything will fall apart, which is to say that you blacks are intellectually incompetent.
Yeah,
I
told
never
you.
said if.
Told
I'm
you.
just saying it happened. Okay, we can end it off now because I really do have to leave.
Absolutely.
Run,
I do
Africana,
agree.
run.
I did
Run,
enjoy having
Africana,
this
run.
conversation, and I did actually learn a lot of
But
information.
that's a
So I
beautiful thing. I
appreciate
appreciate
talking
that.
to you, and I do apologize for lying about going to Somalia. I will say that again. But thank you
Run,
for having me on. I
Africana,
enjoyed this
run.
conversation.
Hey, it was a pleasure. You
It
have a
was
great
nice
day.
to meet you. You too,
Bye.
man. Bye.
All right, folks, let me finish acknowledging the folks who support the work. And if you're
Yo.
watching right now and you haven't supported the work, support it. No, thank you. That lets other people know if it's a good
Let's
read or
end
not.
it,
Shout out to
everybody.
Bye.
This is what happened when you lie, man. This is what happens, everybody. I'm gonna land here. I'm gonna say this. This was a great debate. I loved it. I'm glad people were watching it on TikTok. I mean, not TikTok. Twitter, X, formerly known as TikTok, YouTube, Rumble, Kick. Thank y'all. I appreciate everything, and I appreciate that y'all was watching it as well. Also, I want to say, again, this was a great interview. I think this was a real interview that, this was a good conversation to have. This is the situations when Black Americans have their spaces, and people just come on there and just start talking. And I'll say this. Excuse me. I'll also say this. We're the most coolest people. Shout out to Marquett. He did a great job with that debate. That the white Afrikaner did a great job too. Oh, let's look at the polls. 92% people said ET will will make it to South Africa before the Pan Africans. So y'all can't get mad at me, man. Y'all can't get mad at me because of that shit, man. Niggas said, yo, they said niggas said who's going to help South Africa first. Niggas said ET. That's bad. Y'all Pan Africans ain't worth shit, man. 92% people said Pan Africans will not make it before ET make it. Yeah. But let me give my shout out. Shout out to Lala Brown, Dorsey, White Snow Bunny King, E Will, and Shabaka. Shout out to y'all. And don't forget, shout out to our Bronze Reaper, kick audience. Robin, shout out to you, Robin. And also shout out to Rumble. I forgot the guy's name on Rumble, but shout out to you, player. Thank you. And shout out to Twitter, man. I appreciate y'all watching this. It's a pleasure of letting me entertain y'all. We will have a show on Monday. This was just a little special show for Saturday. I don't usually do shows on Saturdays, but I thought this would have been a great reaction video to watch, so that's why I had it. Thank y'all. I'll